So I just tried to film like a semi-scripted book video and it didn't go super well. I don't know if I'm going to post that one. So I just wanted to sit down and have a little bit of a less scripted, in fact not at all scripted, informal video about the fact that I just deleted all of my social media accounts, and just a few days ago really. And I have, I guess, a lot of things I could say about that experience, and it's also worth noting that all of the links in all of the other videos are now irrelevant because I don't actually have an Instagram or a Twitter or a Facebook anymore. So let's just get into it. I have always had a complicated relationship with social media. Without telling you how old I am, I will essentially still tell you how old I am by saying that I was like 15 when people started to get Facebook in my sphere of life, and I got a Facebook when I was 15, and that was fine for a while. Really wasn't even that big of a deal. I think I was still like overlapping with like AIM and competing for my attention at that point. Like, that's how old I am. So yeah, I've had social media in my life for a long time, but not all of it, right? That's the millennial thing. I remember the world without it, and so that influences how I think about it. And like I said, I've always had kind of a complicated relationship with it, and while I don't necessarily subscribe to a lot of generational theories, there's a really good Citations Needed episode that's a podcast episode about how, like, every 10 years the same, like, Time magazine article comes out about the new young generation, and they always have, like, the same stuff to say. So, I don't know, I need more hard evidence than just this anecdotal generational theory stuff that gets tossed around like it's fact. However, I am very intrigued by the way that, two people can be like 5 years apart in age. If you're in your 20s, your 30s, you can be just a few years apart in age, and you can have a pretty different experience with technology. So, like, I have an older sibling who is 5 years older than me. We got the technologies at the same time, but we were different ages. So, like I said, I was 15 when I got Facebook. He was 20. I was 14 when I got a phone. He was 18. That's different. That is different. And I think about it a lot. And I'm really grateful to not be any younger than I am. I think any younger would have been significantly worse. I have to say. Okay, disclaimer time. Like I said, I didn't script any of this. I'm just chatting. Time for a disclaimer, though. This is all just me, my opinions, my experiences. If you love social media, that's fine. That's totally fine. You can do whatever you want. Not only am I not going to convince everyone, I'm probably not going to convince anyone. And I know that. I just wanted to talk about my feelings. What is YouTube for? It's for talking about your feelings. Okay, let me just, hold on. So, one of my major criticisms of my own experience was that, like I said, I got Facebook at 15. What does that mean? That means that you can't go hang out with your friends at a sleepover and just without, like, full makeup on because they're going to take pictures of you and they're going to be on the internet. That was my adolescent experience, and I think that kind of sucks. I think that really kind of sucks. And I know that it's only gotten worse, but like I said, I can remember a time when it wasn't the case, and then, like, all of a sudden it was the case, and it sucked. It was not fun. I didn't like that. I just wanted to be able to, like, hang out with my friends. I feel like in high school, your group of friends should be like a nice respite from the performative nonsense of high school, but with social media, it's like that performative nonsense gets pulled into literally everything that you ever do, and that is really annoying. And then I got to college, and, like, I kind of liked all the picture taking. This is all so subjective. I don't know. There's like aspects of that were cool. Where like I had so many pictures in college because people would bring cameras, like physical digital cameras for a little while there. Again, this is so different. You could be like 3 years younger than me and be like, nobody had a digital camera. You would just take a picture on your phone. But when I was in college, that was like the transition where first couple of years, like not very many people had a smartphone, or like no one really had a smartphone, and then very, very quickly everyone did towards the end of it. And before the smartphone thing, I don't feel like people were really that tied to their phones. I mean, what are you playing Snake? You're texting? It's not that exciting. It's not that addictive. That was pretty much fine, and I'm grateful for that. And it was mostly just like people would go on their computers and to do homework, and they would just be on Facebook the whole time. Facebook, not like Instagram. Facebook, because time. And even then, I think my first sort of issue with it was time, really. Like, I made that complaint about the high school thing where I was just like, really, why do we have to take pictures all the time and put them on the internet all the time? Like, it's just kind of not how I always want to be approaching every social interaction. And then in college, that didn't bother me as much, but it was just the time that I spent on Facebook. And so I did delete my Facebook. I have deleted and created a personal Facebook account at least 3 times. So I always go back. So I can't. That's another reason I can't sit here and be like, you definitely should delete your social media, because that's not what I'm saying. I have done this before. There's not a guarantee that I won't be back. But I'm feeling good. So yeah, I was never that concerned about like, the privacy stuff. I mean, I definitely think like companies want your data, and they want your data so they can sell you stuff. That is happening. And there is political intervention that happens, as we know, on Facebook especially, where, information is being manipulated in really scary ways. But what always kind of gets me to delete these things is not any of that. It's just time. It's time. It's like the lack of control feeling. So I deleted Facebook, my latest iteration. I think this is like my 4th Facebook account, really. I deleted the latest iteration of it like a month ago, which I barely even noticed. Like, I was not spending a lot of time on Facebook. I mean, it's 2020. Who's spending a lot of time on Facebook? Not me. But I deleted it, and so like I barely even noticed, and I just felt good not having it anymore. I am missing out on a couple of group communities, which are mostly good in my area for like finding an apartment, furniture exchange, like that kind of thing is good on Facebook. All of these sites and apps have their good things about them that are useful, and Facebook can definitely be good for like groups, but it's not worth wasting that much of my time to have that. So that went first a few months ago, and I like didn't even really notice. But I still have a Twitter account. I still have an Instagram account. The Instagram account I only made like a year ago because I'm old and I'm not cool, so I have not had it very long. But I deleted it 2 days ago, and I deleted Twitter 2 days ago. And that has been really interesting, because those are the places that I have been spending a lot of time. Instagram, I also think it's worth noting, they are above and beyond any other site, as far as I can tell, an app with their advertising, in my opinion. Facebook ads, laughable, right? For most of they changed their layout so many times, I'm not sure if this is still true, but a lot of the time the ads would be in like the side. Like, you literally don't even have to look at them. They're located in a specific spot, and you can just not even look at them. Twitter, every time I see a promoted content, it's always like very noticeably promoted content and just very bad advertising. I've never been intrigued by anything. I can't even tell what they're selling. It's usually like they're trying to blend in with other viral stuff. So they're just trying to be like funny most of the time. And usually before I see the promoted thing, I just notice that this post is not funny. It's trying to be something and it's not that thing. But I've never clicked on an ad on Twitter ever, or Facebook ever. But for the year that I had an Instagram account, I think I actually clicked on and purchased things from ads like 3 or 4 times over the course of 1 year, which is not that many times. But that is actually compared to like over a decade on Facebook, never even noticing an ad, really, unless, never ever clicking on an ad, and then 1 year on Instagram and I buy like 3 or 4 things. I don't like that. I don't like that. I mean, I think it's really impressive that they make such effective advertisements. I think one advantage is that they're obviously like an image-based site, and so especially if you follow like hundreds of people on there, you're not going to notice right away that what you're seeing is an ad. I mean, they will often have like a little banner at the bottom that you can click on, but I think by the time you notice that, they already have your attention, and they just do such a good job of targeting stuff. Like, these are not things that I knew I wanted. This is not like, oh, I was thinking about buying that, and so then I just did. These are products that I like did not even know existed. I saw the ad, I clicked on the ad, and I bought them. So I don't like that. I don't like that. I mean, there weren't like the worst buying decisions I've ever made. I'm pretty okay with the products, but like I did not need them. I didn't even know they existed, So I don't like that. And then we get to Twitter, which is like the biggest time suck I've ever encountered. And yeah, again, none of this is a judgment. You can do whatever the hell you want. I don't even know I don't care. But for me, I just feel like it's such a mindless thing. Like, social media feels like that sensation of walking into a room and then forgetting because you needed something, and then getting in the room and forgetting why you're there. Like, it's just that over and over and over again. Like, sometimes I actually would go to Twitter or Instagram or Facebook with like a specific piece of information I was searching for, and I never once remembered by the time the feed starts going why I was there. And then there goes like an hour of my life. So yeah, since this latest iteration of deleting these things, and having absolutely no accounts on any of them, it has been interesting because I have noticed like many, many times a day when I would mindlessly reach for mostly Twitter or Instagram on my phone or my computer, and I just can't do that. So normally when I don't even really notice like what is motivating the desire to go there, there's not enough time. I just click on it and I'm just there. But over the last few days, I have noticed the moment where I'm like, I want to go to, it's not there. And so I've had a chance to stop and notice like what I am feeling and what was the motivation behind clicking on it or trying to. And it's usually one of like 2 or 3 things. I mean, boredom is obviously one. Fatigue, I think, is a really big one. So like, I'm trying to do a lot of stuff right now. It's NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month. I'm trying to write a book. Like, I spend long chunks of time in focused work. I'm working from home as well. And then, I click over to Twitter, and I think that motivation for that was just like wanting to take a break, which is very valid. And like, we need breaks. You can't just work all day. But I think, I didn't even notice that was what was motivating my desire to click there. And now when I have that feeling of wanting to go to Twitter and noticing why is it? Oh, it's because like I need a break. Well, that's great, because then I can take a real break. Like, I can just like take a little walk, or like, I don't know, make a cup of tea, like do something that is a true cognitive like rest. And I'm doing so much more mindfully, like I said, because normally it's not like I would say to myself, like, oh, I need a little break, so I'm going to go on Twitter for like 5 minutes. I feel like that would be fine, but I wouldn't even notice why I wanted to go there. I certainly wouldn't make a plan for how long I would spend there. It would just happen. And then the third reason I think I go to these things is loneliness, which is amplified by social isolation in the pandemic. But you know, I think this is good too, because I have these moments where I will go to try to click on these things that don't exist anymore, and then I'll have a moment of reflection of why I am trying to click on these things. And it's very noticeable when the motivation is wanting to connect to a human, and then I can like just text someone or call them and like actually interact with a person. And for me personally, I think that's better. But I mean, the likelihood of this lasting is, I've done this many times, so I'm not saying that it's going to last. And also, I'm a comedian, and I have a book I'm supposed to be promoting. I'm not doing a very good job promoting. And, like, there are concrete reasons to have a social media presence for, like, career reasons, which I hate. hate. God, can I just live in, like, can it just be, like, 1995? Can I just don't want to, you know? But it's, for a lot of people, I just want to recognize that it is not necessarily a choice. If you have, like, some people, this is their job, is to be on, to be on these sites. Or, like, if you have a business, if you're in a band, if you have anything like that, you need these things. And so that was the thing. Right now, comedy as an art form, like, barely exists in the United States until we can have a vaccine or something. So this was just sort of a good time to take a break. And, unfortunately, I will probably be back, even though I hate it. And yeah, it's an almost 20-minute long video about my rambling thoughts on social media, how it has impacted me over the years. Yeah. So you can go not follow me anywhere because I don't have anything for you to follow me on. You can follow me here and only here. So subscribe. Okay, bye.